This is the first and last time a local father held his son. The boy is now 1 year old. Even though his son lives only blocks away, the father cannot see him.
The reason? The boy's mother was married to another man when the child was conceived.
Michelle Casada live now to explain the law stripping this biological father of his rights. Michelle?
Michael Kelly, a judge ruled in favor of the Florida law, denying Christopher Farrell the chance to even open a parental custody case. Every day he stares at pictures of his son, not knowing if he will ever be allowed to see him again.
Missing out on his son's firsts.
I missed the first step, I missed the first everything. He's calling another guy dad, probably, so.
Christopher Farrell would give anything to be able to raise his son. When he found out his ex-girlfriend was pregnant, he put together this nursery for his soon-to-be baby boy. Never once did he sleep there.
1 second I think I'm going to be a part of my son's life, and then the next second I'm thrown to the wayside.
Farrell's ex-girlfriend is married. He says she lived with him for a few months when she was separated from her husband, but she got back with her husband and was pregnant with Farrell's baby.
She blocked my phone number and cut off all ties and contact after that.
As the biological father of the baby, Farrell has taken his fight to the court. But a Florida law from the 90s basically states a child born into a marriage takes priority over biology. Farrell has no parental rights.
What the law may intend is that the child would be born legitimate, would be born into an intact family of a husband and a wife.
It's horrible. I mean, everyone keeps saying it's almost like losing a kid and almost like he's dead, but he's 3 blocks away. I know he's not. It's even harder.
Farrell says after begging, the child's mother met him on a street corner when the baby was 2 months old. For a few precious minutes, he held his son for the first time.
I was ecstatic. I was sitting here crying. I didn't know what to do.
He hasn't been allowed to see his son since. Farrell and his attorney are determined to challenge the law. Farrell says he sees no reason why his son can't have 2 dads.
There is no negative to having more people in your life that want to love you, that want to be around you, that want to spoil you.
Our legal expert says cases like these are extremely uncommon, which is why they are not heard of. Right now, Farrell's case is going to an appeals court where a judge could make a ruling or send it to the Florida Supreme Court. I did reach out to the mother of the child and her attorney. Both declined to comment at this time. Reporting live from the North County Courthouse in Palm Beach Gardens, Michelle Casada, WPTV.
He waited 9 months for his baby boy's arrival, cut his son's umbilical cord in the hospital, and now the child's mother has cut the little boy out of his life.
This is the second case we've told you about, a Florida law stripping a biological father of his rights to his child.
Michelle Casada is live in Port St. Lucie with this story you'll see only on 5. Michelle?
Michael Kelly, John Karpinski wants to be in his child's life. He feels his ex-girlfriend should not be allowed to use a rarely known Florida law to keep him from his son.
The last thing he said to me was, "I love you, Dada."
John Karpinski's almost 3-year-old son has a year's worth of birthday gifts, Christmas gifts waiting for him at Daddy's house.
He's outgrown probably most of this that's even here.
Karpinski loves being a dad.
You know, I was there for his first steps and first words, feeding him every day. And it's a wonderful feeling.
But he says a short time after he broke off his 5-year relationship with the boy's mother, he says she also separated him from his son.
She cut all contact. Haven't seen my child. I have no way to get a hold of her. And that's one of my favorites. It's on his first Christmas.
The mother of the child was legally married when the boy was born and still is. In those cases, a Florida law gives all paternal rights to the husband.
The law favors children to be born legitimate.
Attorney Sean Plymale is challenging the law and helping Karpinski petition for paternity rights.
Mr. Karpinski was a great dad and was doing all the things that are expected of a father, and then to have that ripped away from him is certainly a different circumstance than even this law ever contemplated.
The child's mother rejected Karpinski's paternity petition. In a motion filed to dismiss the case, she does not dispute that Karpinski is the biological father, but says her husband recognizes the child as his own, and they plan to raise him together.
It's petrifying. It's scary. You don't know. You fear every night. You cry. You just hope he's okay.
Karpinski's attorney says in any case where a biological father has a child outside of a marriage, he has no rights until he files a paternity petition with the court. In this case, they are trying to fight a well-established Florida law. Now, we did reach out to some of our local lawmakers to weigh in on this law and are waiting to hear back. I also went out to the mother's listed home address and could not contact her this evening. The next hearing on the case is on March 31st. Reporting live in Port St. Lucie tonight, Michelle Casada, WPTV News Channel 5.
Well, kids get caught up in legal fights between their parents all the time, but not like this. John Karpinski is fighting a state law that stripped him of his rights to his son. Today, a setback in court for John as he battles the boy's mother and her husband. As Michelle Casada explains, he still has another chance to argue his case and fight the law keeping him from his son.
The Port St. Lucie man says he's had other dads reach out to him since he took his case to court. Dads who have had children with married women who were separated from their husbands at the time. But because a Florida law protects the integrity of a marriage, these dads have no parental rights.
That's one of my favorites. It's on his first Christmas.
John Karpinski was there for a lot of his son's firsts.
You know, I was there for his first steps and first words. Feeding him every day.
He loves his son and wants to be a dad, but instead of being there for his toddler's milestones, he's in court trying to win the right to be in his life.
It's a little bit of a relief that I can finally get in here. It's been a long, tiresome wait and struggle.
John hasn't seen his son for more than a year since the child's mother cut off all ties with him. And because she was married when she had the baby, Florida law says her husband is the baby's legal father. A judge dismissed John's petition for paternity, but is giving him 10 days to file it again, showing why he is an exception to the law.
The court basically gave us a little bit of a roadmap of what they thought that we needed to do in order to get this issue before the court properly.
The child's mother does not deny John is the father. She did not make any comments, but her motion says she and her husband want to raise the child as their own. John says since we aired his story, other dads are reaching out to him.
Numerous fathers going through the same situations, looking for help or guidance.
In January, we told you about Loxahatchee dad Christopher Farrell also fighting for parental rights to his son. His case is pending in an appeals court right now. John says he wants just one thing.
I just want to see my son.
Karpinski has 10 days to amend his petition for paternity. Then the child's mother has 10 days to file a motion to dismiss that petition. They will be back in court soon after that. Reporting in Fort Pierce, Michelle Casada, WPTV News Channel 5.